Artists, today we are going to learn how to create a symmetry monster. My paper is purple on the right, and I actually have my son Lemmy. He's 7 and he's going to help out on the left. So we're each going to do one today. So the very first thing that we need to do is we actually have to fold our paper in half vertically. So that's the long way. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to aim for our best to match our corners up, and we're going to fold. So I'm going to pause so that we can both do that. Once your papers are folded, I want you to find the side that is folded, and I want you to flip it over so that it's on the left. So now we have our fold on the left and we have our opening on the right, kind of like you would open up a book. Symmetry is when you have the exact same thing on both sides. If you think about a butterfly, when a butterfly's wings are open, they look the same on both sides. So we're going to create something with symmetry. Whatever we draw on this side of the paper will look the same on the other when we open it up and cut it. So here's what we're going to do. We want to make sure that we start our pencil line on the fold and we end our pencil line on the fold. And it can be any shape. Whatever we draw, we want to start on the fold and we want to end on the fold. We don't want any lines to touch the fold in the middle though. We're going to start on the fold and end on the fold. So Lemmy and I are going to pause and we're going to draw our lines. We're going to start on the fold and end on the fold. So both of our papers, we started on the fold. So notice we didn't draw anything over here on the open part. We started on the fold and we ended on the fold. Now what we're going to do is we are going to cut. So while our paper is folded, we want to make sure that our paper is folded while we do this. We are going to cut right along our pencil lines. It's really important that we keep our paper folded. So I'm going to pause so that we can catch up. There's one more fun thing that we can do with our symmetry creatures. We can do a couple of negative space areas. So right on the fold, we can draw some shapes. And these shapes are going to get cut right out. So we can draw a few different shapes that start on the fold and end on the fold. And when we cut these out, we're going to keep our paper folded. And what happens is it's going to end up being negative space. So those pieces can get cut right off. So while your paper is folded, you're going to cut out those negative space shapes that you had given to your symmetry creature. Once you have cut out your negative space, you can open up your symmetry creature and you can decide which way is going to be the top and which way is going to be the bottom. I kind of like the way mine looks like this. How about you, Lemmy? Which way do you like yours?
I think I like it this way because then it looks like windows, kind of.
Okay. Our next step, we're going to take a plain piece of white paper and we are actually going to glue our symmetry creature right on top of the white paper. We want to be gluing on the back, the side that we drew on, so that the fold is up. If you're using a glue bottle, remember dot, dot, not a lot. If you are using a glue stick, just remember to cover the important parts of your creature. Like we want to make sure that we get on the edges. So I'm going to pause while we glue our creature right on top of the white paper.
Okay, so I always think of it as 1, 2, skip a few, 99, 100. Always on my paper, so I know to push it down to make sure it's good and tight.
Now that we have our symmetry creatures, I want you to notice that if you imagine it's divided in half where our fold line is, it's the exact same mirror image on both sides. So we're going to take a black Sharpie and we're going to add some details to our creature. But here's what I want you to remember. Whatever you draw on the left side, you need to also draw on the right side. So if you want to give your creature some designs, you want to make sure that you're creating a mirror image. So you're going to do same thing on both sides. So if I'm adding some dots as details for my creature there, I need to do the same thing on both sides. You can even do things in the middle. If I want to turn this into an eye, I can. Okay, so whatever you're drawing, you're doing the same thing on both sides. So imagine that your fold is the middle. Whatever you draw on the left, you need to draw on the right, and that's going to help us make sure that we are staying with symmetry. Once you have added your detail, just remind yourself that whatever you've done on the left, you need to do on the right. So if you make a line or a dot on the left, you've got to make that line or dot on the right. Now we're going to finish this off with some contour line. Contour line is an outline. So what I want you to do is I want you to either choose one color or you can do a pattern of colors. And we're going to be using crayon. And when we use the crayon, I want you to just outline your creature. Remember, contour line is an outline. So if I start here on the bottom, I am outlining. And we're going to go all the way around our creature. So we're doing a contour line, any color, all the way around. So it's kind of like we're giving our creature a border. And if you get to a part where it goes off the edge of the paper, kind of like mine did at the top, that's okay. Just pick it back up where you can and continue your contour line all the way around your creature. I'm going to pause and catch up. After you do your first contour line, you can do the same color or you can switch it up and create a pattern. And we're going to do another one. Remember, if it goes off the edge of the paper, just stop and pick it up. And so I'm following in. If I can't squeeze in because it's too skinny of an area, I just go around. So instead of going into that line, I stopped and went around. Instead of going into that line, I stopped and went around. So if you can't fit into any of your areas because it's too skinny and your crayon is too big, you just stop and go around. So I'm stopping, going around. Remember, if it goes off the edge of the paper, it's okay. So we're going to just keep doing this over and over until we get to the edge of our paper. You can do a pattern or you can do just one color, but we're going to continue our contour lines all the way out to the edge. When you are finished doing your contour line all the way around your symmetry creature, I want you to flip it over and I want you to put your name and your class code on the back. So remember your name and your class code. So remember, your class code is what grade you are in and the first initial of your teacher. And you have just created a creature out of symmetry with a contour line.